Check out the soon to be launched MMi Turret. I have two different models here. Well, same model, two different colorways and designs. As you can see right away, obviously the color, but more importantly is that very cool center date display on this guy here, which I'm a huge fan of. But let's talk about the size and then we'll get into the specs. So it is a 40mm case, 47 lug to lug. You can see non-drilled lugs, and has a case shape that kind of reminds me of the Seiko Samurai-ish. Just its angles and everything just kind of vaguely remind me of it. They did a really good job on it. I like it anyway. So 47, 13.3 thick to the top of the flat sapphire crystal, 22mm lug width, bracelet tape, nice H-link bracelet, tapers down to 20mm, stamped or milled out clasp, excuse me, 6 micro adjust, double pushers, fold over keeper, signed with their logo, and a nice screw down case back with some information. Seiko NH35 in this guy, water resistance 300 meter sapphire crystal, 316L stainless steel, and this is number 001 of 300. So they won't make a ton of them, but there are going to be many colorways, so I think as a whole there will be plenty of supply for people that want to buy them. Nice oversized 7mm crown, very easy to operate. Nice pop to it. Good clean wind on that NH35. So it's automatic and hand winding movement, in case you didn't know. First position is going to be able to do your date change, and then your last position will hack the movement, stop the second hand, and then you can adjust the handset on it. And there's almost no crown wobble on this thing either. It's nice tight construction. So if you watch that date disc there in the center, as we rotate around, did that change on me? We'll see that change. Bear with me. And right now you're noticing that it's a red, and that is something that's going to be changed. These are prototypes, in case I didn't mention. And there you can see it change over. So right now it's a red display for that date. It is going to be an orange, and then when I was talking to the owner of MMi, Victor, he said that there's maybe even a chance they might even try to loom that. I'm a little indifferent on it. You guys know I love my Loom, but it's going to be such a small presentation of Loom in that small circle. I don't know if it's really necessary. I don't know that you're really going to pick it up, but it still might be cool anyway, as long as it's still a bold color. I think the orange, especially if it's a nice brighter orange like the Turret colorway down there, if it's a nice vivid orange, might be slightly better for visibility versus the red. I think that's the thought process on it. This is actually a loomed dial as well. 120 click bezel, in case I didn't mention. This one has the black bezel. This one has the blue bezel. And they are filled with loom. That is another thing that's going to be improved on the production model. The loom on the bezel is going to be better filled in and up to 30%, maybe even more, brighter than its current configuration. The date printing on the disc here is also going to be bolder, easier to read. I can still read it now. I don't really have a problem with it. I mean, you do have to focus, but you also, it's, you know, it starts at 1 and goes all the way around to 31. So like you kind of know where it's at anyway, and then you use the process of elimination. So you don't need it to be super, super bold. You kind of know orientation-wise where everything is. The loom dial on this one also is going to get changed. This one's actually printed on. I think he's going to do a silk print, which is going to be more uniform and clean. So we'll do a loom shot at the end, and you can see that this one's actually still really good, but there's going to be some improvements on that even. The release or the launch date for the Kickstarter on these is going to be November 27th. So very, very soon, because what is today, like the 23rd? So in a few days from now, you're going to see the launch on these. And the launch price is like pretty crazy cheap, or affordable, I should say, because of the construction of this. There's nothing cheap about it. It even has the quick release spring bars for the bracelet. And like I said, the bracelet is a nice H-link, all individual pieces. It is a split pin design, not a screw design. So I know some people might prefer the screw. I actually am totally fine with the split pin. It's pretty easy. I can size up a split pin bracelet very quick. So let's pop this on wrist as we're talking about the price. I think he mentioned the full retail price on this is like $3.99. And with the Kickstarter discounts, I think there's one all the way up to like 30% or something like that. It's basically going to be under $300 is what you're going to do at the earlier you get in on these Kickstarters, the lower your prices. But this watch under $300, yeah, that's a pretty dang good deal. Like sometimes you'll see these where they're actually really nicely well done watches, and then they come out with prices like that, and you're like, I mean, I get it because they have to be competitive. They don't have like maybe the overhead that some bigger brands will, so their margins can be a little bit tighter. But yeah, $300 for this. I mean, spec wise, it has everything that you're gonna want to see on it, and there's gonna be multiple different colorways. You can see a nice brushed handset, beautiful blue dial on this with a little bit of cream to all the printing and the indices and even the bezel. Bezel action is very easy to operate, nice and clean. It's 120 click. Has, I guess if you want to call that play, I call it like the setback or whatever, like to get it to settle in position. That's just the difference between the spring and the rubber gasket they use in there for the construction. It's just you have to get it in position and then kind of settle it back. Nice coin edge on there, and like I said, I love that 7mm crown, and it's signed. So, and the quick release on these, the pegs are actually pretty tall, so pretty easy to operate, easy to get out. You don't need the drilled lugs with them. And 22mm, I know some people might prefer a 20mm for this size, and I mean, normally I think I would agree with you, but I do like the lug size, like the profile of the watch. I think works good with the thinner lugs and the angles on them, and then the wider, like it just balances out and it adds a little bit of heft to the overall package when you have the 22mm down to 20 versus a 20 down to 18. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comments, because Victor did ask me about the he obviously understands it as well, because he asked me, he's like, hey Rod, do you think I should go with a 20 not a 22? And I'm like, let me play with them a little bit, let me think about it, and the more I handle them, the more I think the 22 is actually going to be a better option for this one. I know that's probably not the norm in the comments, you guys can sound off, but I think it just balances it out, because it's a 40mm watch, and I know maybe I'm just being biased because I do like the 42x50, and this one's 40x47. I think having the 22mm lug width actually helps it still be a smaller watch but present well on wrist, if that makes sense. I didn't size this one, but let me know what you guys think on that. So let's kill the lights. We'll check the Loom on these. Again, prototype, so you know, be a little forgiving on these, because the Loom will be better on the production one. But look at the Loom on the full Loom dial there. That is just so cool. I am very happy with that. And then it's going to only be better, really. This one's pretty weak, but it'll be much better in the production model. And I am a sucker for full Loom dials. So when these get fully produced, I already talked to Victor, and he agreed to donate to the channel at least one of these. So it'll be added to my collection. But I want exactly like this, a full Loom dial with that date disc in there. I think it's just a very good looking watch. So I'm excited to have my own and have it in the collection. So, all right guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next vid.